So, today we're going to talk about something we all face: how to keep your cool and make the right call when everything is on the line. Let's dive into how you can really master those high stakes moments. Just take a second and think about it. I mean, we've all been there, right? A huge deadline at work, a sudden family crisis, maybe even just a split second choice you had to make in traffic. That feeling, the crushing weight, the ticking clock, that's exactly what we're talking about today. And here's the most important thing you need to get right from the start. Being good in these moments, it's not some kind of magic. It's not a gift you're born with. It's actually a skill, a discipline that you can learn and get better at with practice. Okay, so if we want to master these moments, first, we have to understand our biggest opponent. And spoiler alert, it's not the situation itself, it's our own biology. Let's take a look at what's actually happening inside your brain when things get intense. Right on cue, this ancient survival wiring just kicks in. Now, this response is fantastic if you're, running from a saber-toothed tiger. But for navigating the complex, nuanced decisions we face today, it's pretty much a complete disaster. So here's the fundamental conflict happening inside your head. Your prefrontal cortex, that's the modern, logical part of your brain you need for clear thinking, it basically gets shoved aside. All the resources get rerouted to the primal, instinctual parts of your brain that are designed for one thing: survival, not for weighing pros and cons. And the results of this are, well, pretty predictable. You get tunnel vision. You literally stop seeing the bigger picture. Your sense of time gets all warped, which just makes the panic worse. And you end up doing one of two things: either falling back on old habits and snap judgments, or you just freeze up completely. That's what we call analysis paralysis. Now, here's the crucial takeaway. We can't just stop this biological reaction from happening. It's hardwired into us. But, and this is a big but, what we can do is build a system, a disciplined process that lets us override that initial panic and stay in the driver's seat. So how do we actually do that? How do we take back control? Well, we're going to borrow a framework from one of the most high-pressure environments you can possibly imagine: aerial combat. It's called the OODA Loop. Yeah, this was literally developed for fighter pilots. The OODA Loop is a battle-tested process for making smart, fast decisions when everything around you is pure chaos. It's all about how to think clearly when you're under fire. It all breaks down into 4 really simple-sounding steps: observe, orient, decide, and act. But the real genius here is that it's not a straight line. It's a cycle. You're constantly looping through these stages, getting faster and smarter every single time. All right, first step, observe. And the discipline here is huge. It's about gathering the facts without any emotion or judgment. So your brain might be screaming, "This is a complete disaster," but your job is to just calmly state the reality. The client rejected our proposal. That simple little act starts to pull you out of the panic and back into a rational state of mind. Next, you orient. And honestly, this is the most critical step of them all. This is where you actually make sense of the facts you just gathered. You ask yourself, okay, what does this data actually imply? What are my biases here? What are my limitations? This is where raw information gets turned into real strategy. Then you decide. But listen, this is a total game changer for your mindset. A decision is not some final, perfect, irreversible judgment. Just think of it as a testable hypothesis. This reframe is so important because it frees you from that paralysis of trying to find the perfect choice. Your goal is just to make the best possible move with the info you have right now. And finally, you act. You put your decision into motion. And then, this is absolutely key, you immediately loop right back to step 1. You start observing again. What happened? What's different now? This constant feedback is what lets you adapt faster than the problem itself is changing. Okay, so think of the OODA loop as your new operating system for high-pressure situations. Now let's install some software. 3 specific tools or force multipliers that are going to make that framework even more powerful. When you feel like you're drowning in information and things are just spiraling, I want you to ask yourself this one simple question, because the answer is going to lead you directly to our first tool. This is what we call the single critical variable, or the SCV. See, in just about any complex problem, there's usually one lever that matters more than all the rest combined. Think of a trauma surgeon in an ER. They're not going to worry about a broken leg if the patient can't breathe. That airway, that's the SCV. Finding it cuts through all the noise and tells you exactly where to put your energy. Our second tool is the decision timer. Remember how pressure messes with your sense of time? Well, this is how you fight back. You impose your own structure. You set a hard, non-negotiable deadline, say 10 minutes, to make a call. This forces you to stop chasing perfection and just make the best decision you can in the time you've got. It absolutely compels you to act. And the third tool is mental simulation. Look, great intuition isn't some mystical gut feeling. It's just condensed experience. And the cool thing is, you can build that experience before you ever need it by running drills in your head. Visualize a potential crisis, walk through how you'd use the OODA Loop, and then throw in some curveballs. What you're doing is building the mental muscle memory you'll need when that moment actually arrives. So let's bring this all home. When you start using these frameworks and tools, you fundamentally change your entire relationship with pressure. You stop being a victim of your circumstances, and you start becoming the architect of the outcome. And really, this is the difference, isn't it? On one path, you're paralyzed by fear, and you let this situation control you. On the other, you're fueled by a clear process, and you actively shape the outcome with your choices. It's totally up to you which path you take. So here it is, your new toolkit. You've got the OODA Loop as your core framework. The SCV is your guide to find focus. The decision timer is the catalyst that forces you to act. And mental simulation is how you train for it all. Because let's be honest, another one of these moments is coming. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. But now you're ready. You've got the tools. So the only real question left is, how are you going to use them to shape your moment?